So, welcome officially to episode number 22. We are beginning with the last five episodes of this series, starting today, 22nd episode, going on to 26. Today is Monday, 30th May, and the 5 months of this calendar year, would complete, almost complete today, of course, at least for the Miraculous Mondays time. So, as usual, all my thanks, big thanks is due to the Lord Almighty, who's given me much, much more than what I deserve. Normally, you don't see this picture in the practice management lecture. This is only reserved for the finance lecture because my dad has been instrumental in teaching me the clinical part of finance. But yes, there are a few management things, there are a few other things in my life that he has taught me, his life theories, his life lessons, which I am following even till date. So you must have seen the title of today's video. So I'll be going ahead with that. So this is my brief CV. You all are aware of it by now. So we normally believe in management, in marketing, customer is always right. My question to you is it always so? The answer is maybe, maybe not. Yes, no. You will find the answers at the end of it. Primarily, we have been made to believe that this is the norm and the patient or the customer is always right. I'll give you a different facet into that today. So these are the topics for today. Is the customer, of course, the patient in our case is always right? Do we need to blindly agree to patient demands? Do we work as per the patient? And finally, who holds the ace of spades or takes the final call? Technically, all aces are equal in the cards, but ace of spades, you can say, is counted as one of the most powerful ones. So who's the more powerful amongst the white coat and the patient? Of course, the doctor and the patient. So the debate begins today. Let us go ahead and you can say solve this point, that who holds the final key. Now, as I said, we all know since ages now, the customer, in our case, the patient is always right. In most of the entrepreneur businesses, you can say always they say go up to whatever level you want to meet the customer's expectations. And people go to ridiculous extents. Companies go to ridiculous extents, even if that means replacing the product for free. But then the businesses and entrepreneurs are usually selling products. We are not selling products. We are selling, of course, we are selling services. That is what makes a hell lot of a difference in what this adage holds for us. If we start taking this adage for literally for reality, trust me, guys, it can be self-destructive for us. Businesses may not suffer the damage, but we will suffer the damage. I'll give you a very short example. Of course, there is a big angle. This is maybe a practice management lecture, but there is a big angle of medical legal negligence associated with this. A patient comes to you who has almost hopeless tooth. Let's suppose 3-6. The left lower first molar. The 3-6 is hopelessly broken down tooth. You check it out, you take a radiograph. Of course, preoperative radiograph is a necessity. You take out the radiograph. You tell the patient, I'm sorry, we won't be able to save it. It is almost near percussion, about to be split, and otherwise also decayed. Maybe hemisection can't be even tried. What you are thinking in your mind before even talking to the patient. So you advise an extraction. What does the patient say? Doc साहब, please, जब तक बचता है बचा लो. So नहीं, ये ज्यादा देर नहीं चलेगा, 2-3 महीने 4 महीने भी नहीं चलेगा, कोई फायदा नहीं है उसका. And the patient say, कोई बात नहीं डॉक्टर साहब, जितनी देर चलता चलाओ, क्यों हम नहीं करना? Some colleagues fall into that trap. Now this trap has multi-fold angles to it. The number one trap, the payment trap. You want to charge for if you are saving that kind of a tooth, you would want to charge for a root canal because that is the only way to save that kind of tooth. You'll charge for a POR, post-obturate. And maybe if you're very heroic or a little greedy, you will try for a crown also on top of that. very well knowing that the prognosis is not poor but hopeless. Let's suppose you don't go in for crown, you just stick yourself to POR. I mean post-op registration. You just stick yourself ki theek hai, why waste patients' money? And the process begins. The tooth is temporarily saved. The patient is relieved of the problem. The patient goes home. 2 months down the line, the patient comes to you. Of course, I presume that the dentist has taken a consent. The normal people who are taking consent for a root canal, I would say they have taken a root canal for the consent. Now, this patient comes back to you after 2 months and says, you have patients sitting in the waiting. He comes and shouts, literally shouts, or maybe at a higher tone says, डॉक्टर साहब जो 2 महीने पहले दांत भरा था टूट गया, मेरे हाथ में आ गया, मेरे को तो सुबह से दर्द है, कैसा काम करते हो आप, 2 महीने भी नहीं चलता. Trust me, even if you have told everything at the start, those 2 lines that he has mouthed, spoken, are good enough to put a seed of doubt in the patient sitting in your waiting. Of course, I would believe that most of you have changed your way of working, especially after COVID, and you don't keep much people in your waiting area. But then every practice is a different practice. Tier 3 and 4 have their own set of issues and problems with the number of OPDs. Tier 1 has their own issues. Tier 2 has their own issues. But again, it is like a system that you want to set in practice. Even if there is no one sitting in the waiting, let's presume the patient has come, you have finished your previous patient, or let's presume this patient has taken an appointment and come. I want to talk to you. I want to meet you. Aajo, koi baat nahi. You give an appointment and there is no one in the waiting. Let's cut out that angle. He sits. डॉक्टर दांत टूट गया जो आपने बोला था, तो मैंने आपको बताया था 2-4 महीने से इसकी ज्यादा लाइफ तो नहीं है. डॉक्टर साहब वो तो कहना ही होता, पर चलता तो इससे ज्यादा, आपने ढंग से ट्रीटमेंट नहीं किया. At this point of time, usually the doctor's temperature, body temperature would start rising. The nerves start to tighten up. The headline starts flinching. There is a lot of raising of eyebrows, and there is a lot of gushing of blood into your adrenaline, or gushing of adrenaline in your blood, sorry. So all this starts happening simultaneously. And जब आपको पहले समझाया था इसको निकलवा लो तो आपको समझ नहीं आई थी बात. Suddenly your tone starts getting in an interrogating manner or in a way that is not a very soothing one. आपने पैसे तो पूरे लिए थे ना, तो पैसे पूरे लिए तो काम करेंगे, पैसे नहीं लेंगे क्या? नहीं, पैसे पूरे लिए नहीं तो काम क्यों नहीं ऐसा अच्छा किया आपने? Suddenly the whole focus shifts towards work proper or not proper, rather than the prognosis or the life. What was wrong? What was wrong here? Agreeing to the patient's demands or not putting your proper consultation inclusions in your consent form. Did you do that? No. We all try to generalize. मैंने आपको बोला था is not on the paper. You have to understand that. Patients, when they spend money with you, they will get demand. It is in our hand to tone down and lower down their expectations, especially treatments which are high-end, like veneers, zirconias, whitenings, or treatments where there is a hopeless prognosis. The thing is, in a hopeless prognosis, you should not be sticking to the patient's demand ideally. But if you are, you need to make sure there is enough evidence on your side to save your skin. And there is no better evidence than your record keeping and consent. Cut it. Cut the story short. You have to understand that the patients are going to be always willing to save their teeth. Of course, I'm talking of a normal scenario. I believe that most of us practice in that area where nobody with a class 1 would say, Mera dant remove kar do. Nobody would say that. But if you're doing that kind of practice, then you seriously need to introspect what you're doing. To hell with tier 3 or tier 4 in that case, if you're going to give me that excuse. Patient समझते नहीं है, patient बताते नहीं है, patient मानते नहीं है. That means you are doing what the patient is seeing. That is what my first slide was. Do we blindly agree to patient's demands? Then the second scenario. Hey Google Baba, ज्ञान करता, ज्ञान देता, जिसको बोलते हैं ज्ञान देवता. सबसे बड़ा ज्ञान देवता आज के डेट में गूगल बाबा है. Dr. Google, I call it fondly. Everyone has a mobile phone in their hands, courtesy the smartphone. Everybody has a internet in their hands, courtesy thanks to Reliance Jio. Everything is not competitive enough. Everything can be verified by the patient within a matter of seconds. डॉक्टर ने ये ट्रीटमेंट बोला है, लेट मी जस्ट चेक ऑनलाइन. अच्छा, इसके तो ये भी ट्रीटमेंट ऑप्शन हो सकते थे, ये तो डॉक्टर ने मुझे बताया ही नहीं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अ मिसिंग टूथ सिनेरियो. द पेशेंट कम्स टू यू फॉर रिप्लेसमेंट. यू आर नॉट डूइंग इम्प्लांट्स, or maybe you feel that the case is not good enough for implants. Again, there are multiple parameters involved in that. The paramount factors in an implant is time, money, and bone. You don't have either of the three, the implant doesn't go ahead. Of course, there's a fourth factor also, the medical conditions. Of course, many of the implant courses have now started overriding these things. नहीं हो, थोड़ा सा precaution हो, थोड़ा सा stability हो, थोड़ा सा medical हो, so we can do it. Again, I would say leave that final call to the patient's physician. How many of you actually take a written physician consent? There is a way to do that. Of course, you send it to the patient. जाओ अपने physician से clearance लेके आओ. It's like a दीवार dialogue from Shashi Kapoor and Amitabh Bachchan. जाओ पहले उससे अपनी माँ के साइन लेके आओ या उससे साइन लेके आओ. That dialogue. No physician would sign it. There is a way to do that. But if you are not getting the clearances, what evidence do you have to proceed? So it is all related. It is all related if you can join the threads. Some of you have been following my live since the first episode. So you know how all these things will join at the end. Then another scenario where your staff member is erring or he has done a mistake and the patient literally fights. And then we are in a situation where we want किसको choose करें, staff को के patient को. There are different philosophies for that. People would, you can say, argue over that yes, maybe you need to always say customer is right, or you need to side with your staff. Staff is always right. Patient की side लो तो staff कहता है जहाँ इज्जत नहीं वहाँ काम ही नहीं अपन करेगा. That approach. अगर staff की side लो, the patient says the dentist doesn't have a trust factor on me. I don't need to continue my relationship with the dentist, of course, on treatment. So it is a very, very catch-22 kind of a situation. But yes, we need to go to the facts and actual details before deciding. I have a personal fundamental principle in life. Even if there is a fight between my two kids, or even there is another fight between, of course, not that serious one, but that friendly banter or a fight between my family members, anyone, I never make an opinion based upon listening to one side. I don't raise my temperatures. I don't get in an anger mode. I always listen to the other side of the story. I listen to both and then I make an opinion. Decision making नहीं कह रहा कि मैं decide करूंगा. I am Raja Harishchandra. No, I'm not. But yes, to make an opinion also sometimes, even if you are not the senior most in the family. Of course, in my case, my dad was the head of the family. Now I say my mother is the head of the family. I'm not. I am the head of my nuclear family, maybe. But yes, again, that is a matter of different reason altogether. What I'm saying is, don't form an opinion. Decision making तो बहुत बाद में आती है. Some people are very poor decision makers. It is an art, again, that needs to be developed with a lot of patience and a lot of skill. But we form an opinion pretty much reading the one side of the story. listening to one side of the story. We don't even listen. We don't sometimes even give a staff a chance. देखो आपका assistant कितना बदतमीज है, मेरे को कैसे बोला? And you start reprimanding that assistant in front of the patient. That is nothing but ego satisfaction. Does the patient's ego satisfy? Maybe, maybe not. Does the staff's ego get hurt? Yes, surely. At this point of time, if you have such kind of a situation, always apologize. Maybe on the behalf of the staff, try to finish off the matter. I duly apologize. I'm really sorry that if my staff has done so. Let's get on with the treatment. We are getting late with our appointment. That's it. Try to dissipate the matter there and then only, rather than being judgmental and being a judge at that point of time. Those things can be taken care of later on also. Of course, you have apologized. The patient's ego is partially satisfied, if not fully. Maybe when the patient is about to leave, you can say, I duly apologize again, and I will surely look into the matter and take an action which is needed. Those words are good enough for the patient to be satisfied. What you do internally is not your patient's concern, and that should not be also. Now, why I placed my dad's image, normally it is in finance lectures only. He worked for 34 long years in SBI from 1967 to 2001. He was a big promoter of this philosophy that customer is not always right. He had done, you can say, lot of public dealing all his life, and that is the reason you can say for this issue or for this aspect of the FB Live, I'm putting forward his viewpoint that I also endorse very strongly. So is the customer always right? Question mark. We started with the customer is always right. Now we are come to the question mark. So any MSME, small or medium scale enterprise or dental clinic, you can say we are not that all supreme, or not our employees are omnipotent. We all, especially in tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, small chair, single chair, twin chair practices, we operate with limited resources, sometimes limited time, limited money, limited energy, and sometimes limited patience. You can say limit, shrunk. Lot of less patience. So every business, be it you can say dentistry or any business, a self-employed business, or you can say entrepreneur business, will have its share of discontented customers. Even I am a discontented customer of Flipkart. I put up a post yesterday night on FB. I never ordered something. It was delivered to me. My staff received it. They paid for it. It was not a big amount, 238, 240 rupees. They paid it. But then when it came to light that none of my family members in my house had ordered that. And then the Flipkart trying to make an excuse. Of course, I am a discontented customer in that regard. Of course, I am right in my own might. Similarly, the patient would also feel the same in our clinic, that we are right. We should be treated our way because it is our money that is being spent to fund the treatment. Maybe they have the thought process. Whether the thought process is correct or not, that is a different theory altogether. But then you try to satisfy all the patient's needs and the wants. जितना मर्जी कर लो, कुछ लोग फिर भी crib and complain करेंगे. There will never be 100% satisfied customers. At the cost of forgiveness, I am just saying, आप किसी मंदिर गुरुद्वारे में चले जाओ और any religious place, वहां पे भी आपको cribbing and complaining, not exactly customers, भक्त मिलेंगे, who are not satisfied from God also. तूने मुझे ये नहीं दिया, मैं तुझसे कब से ये मांग रहा हूं, तूने मुझे ये नहीं दिया. We all are demanding. But then, if God can't satisfy people, his own creations, who are we to satisfy all our customers? Whom are we going to show that benchmark? I have 100% satisfaction rate. If you have that 100% satisfaction rate, either you are treating very, 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 very less number of patients, or you are a total bankrupt. Those are the two things possible, and none of us would want to either of the two situations. So my advice, a strong one, is learn to judge the wrong. Genuinely pained patient and genuinely grudging or cribbing and complaining patient. How do you judge that? Initial consultation or the first consultation. You come to know from the patient's talk how demanding he is, what kind of attitude he has. I would want my patient to be filtered out at that step rather than I go and you can say try my limits in making that patient happy and making all others dissatisfied or unhappy. And there is no guilt involved in this. If you have done your best and the patient still finds a problem, it is his problem, not yours. If the patient says, डॉक्टर साहब काम तो करा लिया, पैसे आपने बहुत ले लिए, मजा नहीं आया. Now you would like to ask, dental treatment आप मजे के लिए करवाते हो? Obviously we can't say this thing to the patient, but मन में हमारे यही चल रहा होता है. Those who want to probe, they can. Sir, we are very sorry, but please detail out what exactly are your problems. Are you not able to eat properly? Is there any sensation? Is there any gap? Is there any food lodgement? Is there any other thing that is troubling you? नहीं ठीक सारा कुछ है, बट वो एक फीलिंग आती है ना, मजा आने की, हाँ पैसे खर्चे हैं, चीज अच्छी बनी है, वो नहीं आया. You should know. He has no problem, but he is still complaining. Always try to finish off this argument in a healthy way. No problem, sir. We'll try our best next time कि आपको अगली बारी मजा आए. That's it. You can finish it off. And next time you start this patient, always do a detailed consultation as to what is the problem that the patient is in this time in your clinic. Always try to lower down the expectations at that point of time. There might be people who would blurt out, आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम है नहीं है तो मजे लेने के लिए तो और जिंदगी में बहुत सारे काम है. व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय मजा नहीं आया? मर मर के काम किया, रात को भी आपका काम किया, सब तरह किया, आपको इमरजेंसी में अटेंड किया आपसे, जब आपने बोला मैं आ जाऊं मैंने किया, हर पेशेंट के आगे आपको प्रेफरेंस दिया, लैब से लड़के मैंने आपका किया, आपको एंड में मैंने डिस्काउंट भी दिया, अभी भी आप कह रहे हो मजा नहीं आया, बच्चे की जान लेनी है आपने. There might be, you can say it is the start of the conversation. Some people are sitting on you can say on the top of a बारूद, सिर्फ चिंगारी की जरूरत होती है, फट वो अपने आप जाते हैं. So don't try to sit on the बारूद का ढेर or gunpowder, I would say. Try to address the genuine issues, and honestly, trust me, my mom says one thing, of course the reference of my father and mom in the same. A person can lie to the whole world, but he can't lie to a mirror. Ask yourself whether you have done your best, whether what the patient is saying is genuine, whether the patient actually needs due attention and care. On the flip side, this is the first step of medical negligence suit. Certain problems can be rectified at this very step only. It is so very closely related to the medical legal negligence part. If you say, मैं तो कर दिया, आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम है नहीं है, कोई प्रॉब्लम आए तो मेरे पास आ जाना. The conversation is unhealthy sometimes, or it gets on the cruder side or the ruder side. That is where we need to tone down. Sir, we have tried our level best. If there are any issues, please let us know. Please detail us your problem so that we can be able to help you out better. Is a better line than what I just said immediately before this. So many medical legal cases I've shared in these 21 episodes before today. Doctor was not available. Doctor did not attend to us. Repeated calls. Doctor did not call back. Doctor did not make attempts to solve the problem related to this only. So all efforts must be made to address the genuine issues. Now question mark से हम लोग आ गए multiple choice question. Customer is right, customer is wrong, both, none of the above. Of course, you're free to answer it whichever way you want to. We as clinics will depend on a lot of referrals. Of course, the old adage of word of mouth, which is going to give us so many referrals. And we believe that all patients give us referrals. No. Some people don't even like to talk about their treatments. Some people like to flaunt, but some even don't like to talk. This is a human nature, an inherent one. Not everybody is outspoken. So every satisfied patient is still not going to give you reference. That is for sure. But yes, a dissatisfied one is always going to spoil a few patients. That is for sure. He will be vocal. He will be outspoken for sure. Even if he doesn't go in for the medical legal suit part, he'll say, नहीं यार, पैसे बहुत है, काम ढंग से करते नहीं, बात सुनते नहीं है, मैंने काम करा लिया, मजा नहीं आया, मेरी प्रॉब्लम थी, मैंने बोला नहीं नहीं कुछ नहीं ठीक है, मैंने उनको बोला मेरे यहाँ पे क्राउन लगाया, उसके बाद से खाना फंसता है, नहीं कुछ नहीं ठीक है, फ्लॉस मारो, वाटर पिक मारो, इरिगेटर मारो, हो जाएगा ठीक. अरे if there is a gap, that is a genuine problem. You should have addressed that. Rather than when it becomes a full-blown one and he goes to another dentist and that dentist is going to say what? Glossary of beautiful words for you? No. A glossary of BB for you, backbiting for you. That's going to happen. We all are postgraduates in that discipline. Jealousy and backbiting, J and BB. So most of us, if not all, of course. So don't, again, there is a very thin line to overspend your energy on a complaint that you can't solve, or not spending any energy, or not even paying heed. Or sometimes people are ultra smart. They'll try to fix that gap with a, you can say, a cervicodistal kind of a filling in that area. Is that the solution? Is the filling going to last in that area? Your crown was deficient. You should have seen it. Get the crown changed. Apni cost pe, lab ki cost pe, that is none of your concern. You should bear it. It is a problem. Satisfaction तो बहुत दूर की बात है, काम भी ठीक नहीं है. But then people say, इतना तो गैप नॉर्मल में भी होता ही है ना, कोई बात नहीं आंटी, आप थोड़ा रुको, मसूड़ा ग्रो कर जाएगा. And the patient waits on irrigating. पौधे को पानी देते ना तो मसूड़ा भी ग्रो करेगा पौधे की तरह. It never happens sometimes. More food ointment and you can say the gum goes further down. Of course, the bone also goes down with it. And ultimately, you can say the contact is lost just because of a silly, stupid mistake which could have been rectified at the first step. If you are not sure of your lab doing you wonders, change your lab. If you are sure that the lab is good, maybe there is an occasional problem, fix the crown temporary, let the patient have the feel. There are so many options, but we are in a hurry to finish off. Remember, we have to finish off this ideology in our mind. More number of patients, more money, more satisfaction, more happiness. No! Less number of patients, more money, smart work, and more happiness, more time at your disposal. That is what makes us, all of us run that rat race. People ask me, how do you manage so much? Even I am treating 8 to 12 patients in a day, 10 to 12 in a day, sometimes 15 in a day. I do workshops as a separate part. Most of the money that I earn from my workshop goes into funding my further education. I still run my kitchen and my house from my clinic. And I'm saying this in the 23rd year of my practice. Never even till date has workshop funded even 1 month of income for my house. I've never taken that money from my workshop because that is supposed to be for a different purpose. But then again, ideologically लोगों को लगता है दिन में ज्यादा पेशेंट तो ज्यादा पैसा. अरे नहीं है ऐसा. और कुछ नहीं तो मेरे एक्सपीरियंस से सीख लो यार. The lesser number of patients you do, the more attention you will pay to finer details, and you can say, require a due diligence in that and full attention. इसमें क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम है. How finally you understand your nuances of your business, your work, और foresee it. ऐसे करेंगे तो ये प्रॉब्लम आ सकती है पेशेंट को, ऐसे करेंगे तो नहीं आएगी. यू हैव टू foresee that. वो फोरसी करने के लिए टाइम भी चाहिए ना. मशीन थोड़ा ना लगाई है यहाँ पे ऑटो प्रोसेस करेगी. प्रोसेस तो खुद ही करना पड़ेगा ना. इन्फॉर्मेशन यूज करोगे ब्रेन तो ना. ब्रेन को टाइम दोगे कूलिंग ऑफ के लिए. सारा दिन काम कर करके कुछ नहीं मिलता. So if you are addressing those issues, smaller, finer details, patients will also note that, and you will see your patients will also become more compliant and more happy and more satisfied. Sometimes the patient comes to you for this very reason only. A clinic छोटा है, but the doctor is very good. क्या विजन अगले की छोटी छोटी चीजों पे ध्यान देता है. All related to your record keeping part, your, you can say, attention to detail, listening to the complaint, diagnosing it well, advising the right way, signing the consent, and all those parts are related. If you're doing it this way, and if you feel that you genuinely came across a CC patient, crib and complaint patient, then move on. Address the genuine issues and move on. Of course, I told you the ways how to move on. Rather than spending your energy on one patient, all patients deserve our best efforts, not one. All patients deserve our best effort, not one. It is a hard, cold, and a true fact, but many of us don't value it. We always like to give our attention to the selected few, to the selected VVIPs, NRIs, and all that. The local patient says, "Bhaiya, मैं तो domestic वाला हूँ, मेरे तो कोई इज्जत नहीं." So the onus is on you to identify, and you can say move on, doing on the best for them. कि कौन से CC patient है, अलग करो and move on. और पहले स्टेप पे फिल्टर कर दो, ज्यादा अच्छा है. जिनकी ओवर डिमांडिंग एक्सपेक्टेशंस होती. मेरे पास कोई डिमांडिंग पेशेंट आता है, मैं तो हमेशा उसकी एक्सपेक्टेशन पहले लोअर डाउन कर लेता हूँ. ये तो मिलेगा नहीं. A patient came to me once. I put up that case in the recent consent workshop also. I want lustering of my teeth. I mean, what do you mean by lustering of teeth? मोतियों की तरह दांत चमकना. मैं कहाँ देखे आपने? वो हैप्पी डेंट की एड आती है ना. कम ऑन, दैट इज फिक्शन यार. हैप्पी डेंट की एड जैसे दांत नहीं मिलेंगे. आई एम सॉरी. तो कैसे मिलेंगे? The only procedure that is closest to it is whitening. It will give you white and bright teeth to a larger extent. Still not a lustrous. Lustrous. मैं कहता लस्ट बोल दिया तो लस्ट वर्ड का मतलब भी कुछ और होता है. चलो लस्ट्रस बोल दिया तो इट वाज स्टिल इन द, यू कैन से, 8 बिलो 18 कैटेगरी. उसके बिना तो 18 प्लस में चला गया. एनीवेज, जोक्स अपार्ट. सो आई टोन डाउन द एक्सपेक्टेशंस. वो हैप्पी डेंट की स्माइल फिर भी नहीं आएगी जिसमें से आपके ट्यूब में से आप फ्लैश निकलेगा और आंख मार के फोटो खींच लो. सॉरी, दैट वोंट हैपन. बट दिस इज द वे यू टोन डाउन द एक्सपेक्टेशंस. नहीं, मुझे किसी ने बोला था लस्टरिंग होती है. नहीं, मेरे पास नहीं होती. आई एम सॉरी. वी ट्राई टू गेट इनटू दैट जोन. आया है दैट, वो दैट बोलते ना डायलेक्ट फ्रॉम अंदाज अपना अपना. आया हूं, कुछ तो लेकर ही जाऊंगा, शक्ति कपूर. तो डोंट डू दैट कि कोई भी पेशेंट आया तो कुछ ना कुछ देकर जाएगा. नहीं, नहीं दे के जाना चाहता तो जबरदस्ती मत निकालो. क्योंकि आप जबरदस्ती निकालोगे तो वो आपकी जेब से 10 गुना जबरदस्ती निकालेगा इन द फॉर्म ऑफ मेडिको लीगल केस. ये याद रखना. गलती पहले स्टेप पे ही होती है. बोलते ना, इस बात को छुपाने के लिए मुझे एक झूठ बोलना पड़ा और उस एक झूठ को छुपाने के लिए मुझे 100 और झूठ बोलने पड़े. तो पहले ही झूठ मत बोलते ना. बात तो सारी वहीं से शुरू हुई थी. So you know the best for the treatment. But the problem is now that red point is coming in. Customer is not always right. अभी भी थोड़ा सा maybe ये वो क्या करें. So today's era, Google, Dr. Google Baba के कारण, जियो की मेहरबानी के कारण, everyone thinks I am Mr. Know All. I will tell the doctor what to do. The patient guided treatment plan. You have to know where to draw the line. Don't be arrogant. Don't be rude, but say it. Say it very conveniently. I think, sir, I have the right to decide what is best for you. If you don't agree with my opinion, you can please take a second opinion. There is always a way to say it. भाई साहब डॉक्टर मैं हूं, मैं जानता हूं कौन ठीक है और कौन गलत है. डोंट ट्राई टू टेल मी. 20 साल हो गए मेरी प्रैक्टिस को, ऐसे नहीं हम लोग ये करते. Again, a different way from what I just told you. So again, there can be multiple ways. But if you give your customers or patients a liberty to think that what they think is right, you are on the wrong track. You are on the wrong track. You have to understand that. For example, many patients will say, कब तक चलेगा क्राउन? आंसर है 2012 दिवाली पे पिक्चर आई थी यश चोपड़ा की, जब तक है जान. जब तक है जान चलेगा तुम्हारा क्राउन और फिलिंग. आई हैव सीन कलीग्स, वो आंटी 15-20 साल तो कहीं नहीं जाएगा, बाकी मैं बैठा हूं, चिंता ना करो. कंसेंट कंज्यूम तो बहुत दूर की बात है. यू आर रेजिंग द एक्सपेक्टेशन. आई एम टेलिंग यू टू लो डाउन. यू आर रेजिंग द एक्सपेक्टेशन. If you say, what is the life? On an average, it lasts 5 to 7 years, as the company says, but it actually depends upon patient's maintenance. There are instances where it has lasted 6 months also, but there are instances where it has lasted more than 10 years also. So it mostly depends upon your maintenance. Depends upon your maintenance. Again, one of the second things my dad always said, that जब कोई इस तरह की डबल सिचुएशन में फंसो ना, प्ले लॉन टेनिस. व्हाट डू मीन बाय दैट? थ्रो द बॉल इन अदर्स कोर्ट. कब तक चलेगी फीलिंग? नॉर्मल लाइफ ये है, मेंटेन करोगे तो इतना, नहीं मेंटेन करोगे तो इतना. आई हैव अ फ्रेंड फ्रॉम ऑस्ट्रेलिया, वन ऑफ माय जूनियर्स इन कॉलेज. ही केम डाउन जस्ट अ फ्यू इयर्स बैक एंड सेड, इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया पीपल कम टू अस एंड कंप्लेन, डॉक्टर आपने फीलिंग की थी, अच्छी की थी, लेकिन somehow probably I might have eaten something wrong, the filling is out. In India, what happens? You've done the filling on 3-6, the patient comes, doctor आपने filling की थी इस दांत में, दांत ही टूट गया मेरा. And you say, मैंने तो इस दांत में filling की नहीं, मैंने तो आपके इस तरफ की थी, आपको गलती लग रही है. And sometimes patients have lost the slip they have kept. Dentist is not keeping the records. There is no, you can say, sign of consent. The debate, the ladai, the gussa, the anger, the emotion, the adrenaline all come into play. Small little things which can blow out of proportion. But then we don't want to spend time with the patient in the initial phases especially. And that is what is instrumental in doing all this what we do. So the customer is always right, but this means solving problem is more important than one who's right. Solve the problem without blaming yourself or others. You can reduce stress by that. You will feel better and you will be on your way to customer satisfaction. I gave you an example. आपका स्टाफ बहुत बदतमीजी से बोला, आपके स्टाफ ने ऐसा कहा, आपके स्टाफ ने इंस्ट्रक्शन नहीं दिया, blah 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 blah. Let's discuss the point. I'm sorry that it happened. Let's get on with your appointment. I'll try to help you out, try to solve your problem whatever way I can. So the carry home gyan for today, establish before the patient that you are the expert. This is your clinic, your rules apply. You are the boss and you are the final authority. Of course, I just told you the way to say it. Don't tell in a blatant way or an arrogant manner. Okay? Sometimes the patients may get frustrated over simple trivial things. ये तो कह रहे फिलिंग 6 महीने चलेगी. Sir, I said 5 to 8 years, 5 to 7 years. I said if you don't maintain well, then 6 months. इसका मतलब है मैं खाना पीना छोड़ दूं, इसका मतलब मैं ब्रश करना छोड़ दूं, these sort of things will tell you, इसका मतलब sorry, सारा दिन brush करता रहूं. So these sort of things will tell you that the patient is in no mood to comply, is an over expectant patient. Just try once more. Just try once more. Sir, I did not say this thing. Anyways, brushing after meals is important, especially after breakfast and after dinner. 90% of India which brushes, पहले तो सारे India brush नहीं करता है. 80 to 90% of India which brushes only once in the morning. You can brush or not brush, but please don't count the morning brush. You shift the paradigm totally towards the alternate I&E, information and education. अच्छा, इसका मतलब जो मेरी पिछली प्रॉब्लम है इसका नहीं, पिछले डॉक्टर ने मेरे को ये बात तो बताई नहीं कि ब्रश खाने के बाद करना चाहिए. ब्रेकफास्ट के बाद बोला आपने. हाँ जी, रात को तो मैं कभी कभी कर लेता हूँ. सर व्हाट टाइम डू यू हैव योर मील? 8 बजे खाना खा लेते हैं. सोते कब हो सर? 11 बज जाते सोते सोते. ब्रश कब करते हो? सोने के टाइम. सर द ब्रश इज टू बी डन प्रेफरेबली विद इन हाफ एन आवर द मील फॉर अ बेटर बेनिफिट. अच्छा, ये भी है. Suddenly the whole focus shifts towards the patient side, that yes, he has been guilty of all these things. He has not been maintaining things, so that is why he is here. And I'm not saying anything wrong, or I'm not playing with the patient's psychology. I'm telling you the fact that we all don't do, or majority of us don't do. This is a simple way to tone down the patient's expectations. But if we can't even tone down, sky is the limit. Give proper education details of the function and life of treatment modality, along with do's and don'ts. I just mentioned them, which will help understand the expertise. We work at a micro level, as smallest, thinnest instruments possible into the narrowest of the areas, and we deserve respect. वो आता ना एक, वो कुछ भी करके छोटू सा कुछ बड़ा कर लेता, तो अब हमको चाहिए फुल इज्जत. We want to always say that we are dentists, हमें भी इज्जत दो MBBS जैसी जितनी आप उनको देते हो. You deserve that, but you have to create an environment for that. If you don't create an environment for that, you're not going to go anywhere. Also important that the patient does not self-destruct the work done by not maintaining, by, you can say, using a toothpick, using a metallic thing. I've seen weird examples. People getting on the door and opening up the door bolt. Kundi hoti hai na, kundi, daan se khole. And came to me with a fractured incisor, fractured canine. Yes, it has happened. I had a theater close by. The last show used to be 9:30 till before COVID. It closed down in the COVID era. So 9:30 usually for an movie interval was close to around 11 or 10 minutes here and there. I usually used to sleep at 10:30. Every alternate month, minimum one emergency. I'm averaging 5 to 6 in the year. Came to me. Orient, the theater's name is Orient. Orient में आए थे, कुछ खा रहे थे, दांत टूट गया. क्या कर क्या रहे थे बोलो? Bottle खुली थी मुंह से. People do weird sort of things. They are on a self-destruction pathway sometimes. We have to imagine that they don't do it. Of course, बोलते ना, बाप बड़ा ना भैया, सबसे बड़ा रुपया. इन प्रैक्टिस मैनेजमेंट मेडिकल लीगल आई ऑलवेज से, जिसको रात को चैन की नींद आ गई, उसके लिए सबसे बड़ा देवा भैया वही है. उसको सेटिस्फाइड हैप्पी पेशेंट की लाइन लगी रहेगी. उसको कहीं कुछ जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, उसके बाद सब कुछ आता रहेगा, प्रोवाइडेड योर वे ऑफ वर्किंग इज फाइन. Of course, we do such activities, do such functions, do such activities, I would say, or you can say work, that हाय उसमें कहीं दर्द तो नहीं हो गया, उस पेशेंट का फोन आया था. अरे पहले ऐसा काम करते क्यों जिसके लिए आपको आपकी रात की नींद गंवानी. So think about it. I know majority of you who are watching me are those who are already not doing these things, and those who are doing these things are minting money on another patient in the clinic right now also at 9 o'clock plus. They will never open this video. It's not my loss in any ways. It is their loss. So the customer is not right. Of course, a big loss man is not always right. So this was the topic. Do we need to blindly agree to the patient demands? No. We need to put a line. We need to say no. The Supreme Court has said in its 2007 judgment, a landmark one, the doctor is in a dominant position to say a no at the start. But if he chooses to agree, that means he has accepted the patient contract. We are still governed by the Indian Contract Act 1872. It is a British act, not modified many times, but we are governed by that. A patient-dentist relationship, patient-doctor relationship is governed by Indian Contract Act 1872 as well. Do we work as per the patient? Maybe yes, according to the patient schedule. Maybe money part, installments, if it suits you. Treatment plan? Absolutely no. Put your foot down. You need to tell the boundary that no, this is not needed. I will not do it. The patient is free to choose the dentist at that point of time. That is why it is very important to make a treatment plan right at the start. So who holds the ace of spades or takes the final call? Up. 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 आम आदमी पार्टी की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं. Up means you. You. So the debate begins. The debate is open. You can put in your feedback. You can put in your views, whether you agree with it or not. I'm open to discussion. I don't mind, you can say, deducing any opinion out of your viewpoints. So do put your brain in critical thinking mode. Learn to adapt. Learn to light the bulb. Learn to have a parallel paradigm thinking. Learn to join the dots. कि इस चीज के ग्रेवर implications क्या आ सकते हैं. जरूरत से ज्यादा काम आपको कभी अमीर नहीं करेगा. अगर ये करता होता तो दिहाड़ीदार मजदूर जो उससे ज्यादा मेहनत कोई नहीं करता है तो वो बिलियनियर होता. वो नहीं है ना. आई एम नॉट सेइंग हार्ड वर्क इज नॉट नीडेड. इट इज नीडेड, बट हार्डेस्ट वर्क विल नॉट मेक यू रिचेस्ट. रिमेंबर दैट लाइन. अगर मेरी बातों से आपको ठेस पहुंची हो तो जप नाम बाबा जी आएंगे 3 जून को. मैं उनकी फ्री में ऐड कर रहा हूँ. एक बदनाम आश्रम लेके, वन ऑफ माय फेवरेट वेब सीरीज, ऑफ कोर्स द नंबर 1 OTT प्लेटफॉर्म, or number 1 OTT web series, not the platform but the web series. So thank you so much for watching, and this is my WhatsApp community on the verge of completion, 6 groups, and it will be done. If you want to be added and you are not yet a member, please do send me a message. I will add you. This is my YouTube channel. As on 15th May, 470 plus videos already there. If you are not a subscriber, do subscribe. If you have missed a portion of this video goes live on YouTube tomorrow morning. So do send me your feedback wherever you're watching it, on YouTube, on FB page, on my WhatsApp group community, or wherever you want to. I'll be sharing in a few groups as well. Wherever you want to, Bookers and Brickbath both will be welcome in equal measure. I know this session has been a tad long, but ये topic ऐसे topic मुझे discuss करके मजा बहुत आता है. मेरा दिल ही नहीं करता बंद कर दूं. I started FB lives as a, you can say कि 15-20 मिनट का लूंगा, पर 40-45-50 मिनट पे पहुंच रहे हैं धीरे-धीरे, क्योंकि topics इतने interesting. But again, the last few sessions are all about joining the dots of all the previous 20-25 sessions. So thank you so much once again, and I stop my share for questions or acknowledging the visitors on my FB page where this session is happening. Okay, hi Dr. Rajat, hello Dr. SP sir, hi Raghu. Sarji is always right. No, I am not always right. The patient is always right. You need to have a question mark. So hello, Dr. Rajendra Desai. Hi, Dr. Nikhil. Good evening, Dr. Ramchandar. Hello, Dr. Manu. Hi, Dr. Sanjeev. Hello. Hello, Dr. Girish Kurana. Hello, Dr. Garima Sharma. Hello, Dhagash. Hello, Dr. Musa. Hello, Dr. Gurudev sir. Bali sir. Thank you, Dhagash, for your feedback. Thank you, Dr. Mayur, for your feedback. Dr. Gurudev Bali says, I work from 10 to 5, but many tell me work after 5, but I am happy. Yes. Satisfaction is the biggest thing that you can arrive. Again, a third thing from my dad. He says, the one person who learns how to draw a line of satisfaction will never be poor in any sphere of life. My dad was never a billionaire, but he never intended to be a one. He said, whatever I need, I have already more than that. So that philosophy you have seen reflected in me as well. I always thank God for giving me much more than what I deserve. Of course, these things again are debatable, but this is the philosophy we live with. The point I want to put across always is the theory of abundance. Don't live in a scarcity mindset, live in an abundance mindset. And I'm happy for you, Dr. Gurudev Bali sir. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ramchandra sir. So, friends, any questions? I'll be happy to take them up. Any feedback you want to post, please do post it. I'm all open ears, and do post your feedback in the WhatsApp group. At least it wakes up others, because these are a few topics that all need to hear. But unfortunately, people don't have time. They want to work the hardest and become the richest. I gave you an adage today. If even that doesn't go well with you, or you don't understand, then Japnam, Japnam, Japnam. Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye. Take care. Have a great week ahead. And I will see you Thursday with a beautiful session on Thunder Thursdays. Of course, 23rd episode of this series on Miraculous Mondays in the month of June. In the next week, of course, on 6th of June. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care. Good night. Shabba khair.